Welcome to Talking Tactics, a show about insights and the results they ignite. I'm Safaniya Stevenson, a brand strategist and cultural analyst in the wonderful world of marketing. And every other week, I dig into the aha moments that changed everything for a higher education marketer. Each episode of Talking Tactics starts with an insight, following it from observation to action that created measurable results. We're talking about the breakthrough moments that happen with scrappy resources, and sometimes we'll even explore the tactics that, crashed and burned, because there's also value in trial and error. Your next innovative idea might be hiding in your data, your hallway conversations, or your own gut instinct. So let's get to it. So I feel like marketers are always TikTok this, TikTok that, but today's guest is actually going to talk about how with a little collaboration with your SEO team, we can actually lean into an old tried and true video platform for higher ed marketing. So today I'm joined by Amanda Farrell, the Senior Associate Director of Social Media at Temple University. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, it's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We talked extensively about TikTok and TikTok bans and really how the TikTok ban actually became kind of like the catalyst for Temple's YouTube Shorts strategy. So tell us a little bit about what was going on with the team when the TikTok bans were rolling out, and then how you all pivoted, but then pivoted again to say, we're not leaving YouTube Shorts behind. We're going to keep it.
Of course. So we really started getting on YouTube Shorts probably a year to a year and a half ago now. And it wasn't in the most consistent manner. It was when we found that we had an opportunity from a video that we were creating that we thought could work well with our YouTube content strategy. Fast forward to the TikTok ban. And we were doing some research and saw the stats on YouTube and how well used it is from our target demographics for their video content, not just on TikTok anymore, but on YouTube. And when the TikTok ban rolled through, we really wanted to double down on our YouTube short strategy after that. I think it's one of the most important content formats, vertical video,
For sure.
based off of algorithms and reaching new audiences. Don't get me wrong, we love our carousels and our static posts, but we use those more for retention and engagement, where our vertical video is really geared towards reaching our non-followers. And what better way to do that than on YouTube Shorts with the discoverability opportunities on that platform that are aligned with our target demographics.
Yeah, and a lot goes into YouTube strategy, in general. So you all work really closely, with your web and SEO team. And I know you mentioned, because with YouTube, right, you have keywords that you can enter in the background, titles, captions, cover art, all these things. And they're all based in like you said, discoverability and search. How does the collaboration between a university video team and a university SEO team actually work? How was it? Was this something where you're like, hey, we need SEO for videos? Did the SEO team come to you and say, hey, by the way, SEO how did that conversation actually even get started?
Yeah, so this is something that I'm really looking forward to working with more on with our SEO team on.
Yeah.
I actually went to a conference over the summer, and they really talked about social media SEO and integrating it into your strategy. Now people are using social media platforms even more than web and Google to search for things. And now even Instagram posting captions can appear on Google in search results. So the power of searchability and social media are just becoming more and more integral into what we need to do in our strategy. So this was something that I really wanted to work with our SEO team on. And it was actually perfect timing that we were hiring an SEO coordinator at Temple.
Nice.
To be able to work
We love
with
when those types of things happen. We love that.
Yes. So the stars kind of aligned there. Our main goals with this strategy were to improve our visibility on each individual social media channel for each of those channel search engines. They all operate differently and in their unique senses. But the one thing that we can really dive into for that with our SEO strategist is keyword research.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are our target audiences searching for on each of those platforms? And what are the key phrases that they're using to make those searches? We then use those key phrases to help inform our captions. So, for example, on YouTube Shorts, we're making our captions and titles on YouTube Shorts something that we think our audiences would be searching in YouTube. We kind of put the creativity aside for titles because if you try to make it too fancy and it's not something that someone's going to search in the search bar, it's so much less likely that they're going to find your content. So we
Right.
really keep that in mind when creating our titles for SEO.
And I think that's perfect because I'm thinking of like, well, what could go wrong here, right? Like, because one, you get discovery from search. Like you said, you're using the actual key phrases as search. And if I want to find it, that needs to be there. And to be honest, I'm not worried. Like if it's just in feed discovery, like when I'm just scrolling on my phone, I'm not really worried about the title. I don't know about you, but I don't stop and go, what's the title of this video? Like when it
No.
shows up. So it's not even like, because I know sometimes like we get caught up on aesthetic, like, oh, this isn't cute. Like this is not a cute caption. So we can
Yes.
put cuteness aside for functionality in this example.
Yes. Especially on YouTube with the capabilities of its searchability on its channel. And if we really think about it, our audience is using YouTube the most out of our social platforms to actually search for a specific thing about Temple University. So we really try to keep that in mind with our SEO strategist as well. What content topics are people even looking for when they're looking into Temple University? And how can we translate that to our content strategy to make sure that we're feeding into what they are looking for out of us?
And when you're looking at content strategy and like who you're trying to reach, do you find yourself finding that YouTube Shorts resonates better with a certain audience, or are you seeing a mixed bag of who's searching or who you all are trying to target?
YouTube is really a mixed bag for us, which
Yeah.
is it's great, but then it's also we need to make sure we're diversifying our types of content on that
Right.
channel as well. Like, for example, we put up a parent video geared towards parents about advice on what it's like coming to Temple University from a parent's perspective. And we were testing it out. Mostly our parent audience is on Facebook. So we were
Mhm.
testing maybe like it would get some interaction on YouTube based off of parents looking into the school for their child. And it was actually one of our top performers from this past month in terms of impressions, searchability, like we were aiming for.
Yeah.
So it was a nice little surprise, and it's something that we're looking forward to do more of.
And that's what's great about YouTube Shorts too, is because based on algorithm and based on those keywords, like sometimes with, I would say like static Instagram, when we know people are actually going to navigate away from a piece of content onto like a page where we're like, man, we have to make sure we don't over index for student only. But we also want to make sure that we don't leave parents out because we don't want them to land and then not find, and then donors and then community and then
So many
faculty. And
layers.
there's so many, but with YouTube Shorts, it's so catered toward the algorithm and like discoverability where you don't have to worry about if a parent based on the algorithm or search finds a video, they're not going to be turned off by like, there's only one parent video in the last week. It's like, no, you just keep discovering as you go along. Or I even looked at kind of how you all have things section where you have groups of resources based on audience, which is also super smart.
Yes. One other thing we're trying to do with YouTube from an SEO standpoint is also just take a look at trending topics in
Mm,
the news, the media, the world that we can take a Temple spin on, whether that means we have a relevant faculty member who has a history of research in that area, or a faculty or staff member is involved in this type of work at Temple. We like to take a trending topic in the news media or the world and pair it with a Temple faculty, staff, or student
Mm-hmm.
and merge those two to create relevant content for our channels, but also reach a much wider audience just based off of the content topic and the SEO from where it stands for that.
So how do you internally balance when is best to do brand versus trend and like the mix of both? Because I know sometimes like we get caught up in like, oh, we want to do a trend, but then we also, from a video standpoint, want to make sure something's evergreen. How are you all deciding what meets the threshold of, oh, we can participate on this trend for YouTube Shorts versus we need to make this evergreen or we're not going to participate in the trend at all?
Yeah, I think about balancing trend driven content with evergreen brand strategies in two different ways. I would say trends give you relevancy and reach. That's how you participate in the cultural conversation
Yeah.
of what's going on social media, and for lack of a better term, like conquer the algorithm. Because mostly it's prioritizing those trend based videos when those
Right.
are really prominent. But then evergreen brand content, on the other hand, helps build long-term value.
Mm-hmm.
It's discoverable, it's searchable, and it continues to drive engagement well beyond the moment of when you post it. I think the key is integration of both.
Mm.
Experimenting with trends that have an authentic relation to our brand, but also maintaining a consistent brand voice so that when you're linking trend driven content back to your core themes, it comes across in an authentic way and not like you're trying to jump on something that has no relevancy at all to your audience
Because
or
if
what.
there's one thing a brand knows how to do, it's how to ruin a trend.
Yes. Some trends just do not need to be hopped on by certain brands, universities, what may have you.
So when you are thinking about, or when you're trying to find trends, I'm curious to know, especially folks out there who are thinking like, well, YouTube Shorts and I want to stay trendy. How does your team actually identify and kind of stay fresh with trends? I'm curious.
Sure. So a lot of it has to do with scrolling, making sure that we're on top of what our relevant audiences to Temple are posting about.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see a lot of students are posting a trend that's going around the algorithm and it makes sense for our brand on social media, that's where my team will jump in and do a brainstorm about how we can make it work for our channels and our brand in that authentic way that makes sense. Another way we go about it is we have a student worker team. So we have student ambassadors, student video workers, and student vloggers. So they are a big set of eyes and ears for us on social media. Part of their role with us is advising on social
Mm.
media content that they feel would be relevant for us to jump on. And just being Gen Z themselves,
Yeah.
they're chronically
Going
on.
straight, as you were going straight to the source. You're like, hey man, what
Yes.
what are the kids talking about today?
And sometimes they do give us things that we don't necessarily think would mesh well into our content strategy in terms
Yeah.
of trends or that would really resonate with our audiences. But for the most part, they give us great ideas about things that we can jump on if one of my full-time team members may have not seen it yet.
Yeah, that's super cool. And let's take a quick pause for a word from our sponsor. Southeast Missouri State University needed to launch more targeted campaigns faster, yet they were bogged down by manual campaign builds, slow approvals, and vendor overload. With Element 451, they eliminated 5 vendor tools and gained marketing superpowers in one platform. They saw a 13% increase in applications, processed applications within 2 days, and achieved 33 to 35% email open rates. The impact? Personalized, automated campaigns running at scale without the drag. Ready to turn your next campaign around in hours, not weeks? Try an agent today at element451.com/agents. You have already talked about this before, and I know me and you talked about it at links, but like Temple is investing heavily in like video first and actually has created kind of like these new social first video roles? Like even when me and you were talking about setting up and recording this episode, between now and then, you have already like hired a new person on your team just for social first video. So what have you learned about, well, one, the difference between your social first person that lives on like your marketing team versus a greater video team? And then how are you learning and structuring these roles for short term or for short form video? So like what's the difference between a social first video and a traditional video person at your team?
Sure. So we have two separate teams. We have our social media team, and then we have our multimedia video team. We work very closely together on different video projects, content ideas, trending topics that we want to hit on. I would say the main difference is our social first video role is focused on vertical video content, because that's really what's driving the impressions and views on our channels. Those are really short, quick hitting videos for us that we can be very nimble and adapt to in, I want to say not even a day's notice if something comes up that we want to hop on. Where our video team, we really work with them on thought out, strategic, long-term videos that are going to provide that brand building content that we're looking for, where it's evergreen and we're having audiences discover it across time, not just in the moment's notice where our social first vertical video person is focused on.
So if someone is sitting in their office in Central Marcoms right now and they're like, man, we want to try YouTube Shorts, where should they start? What's the first thing to do?
I would say to not overthink it.
Whoa, hold on. What? Not overthinking higher ed? Do you know?
I know,
you
right?
know your audience right now?
I think some people may get caught up in feeling like they need to differentiate what they're posting between TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, whatever vertical video platform it is. Of course, with the exception of trends that are specifically on TikTok or Instagram. If you are making a vertical video for any other vertical video platform, I do not think there's any reason that you should not post it on YouTube Shorts and take advantage of the searchability, discoverability that it can bring for your brand in an infinite more way than some of these other platforms can bring if you have your target demographics on YouTube.
Yeah. And essentially just taking, I mean, the video is already cut. It's already done. So I guess it's a matter of, so if someone has an existing TikTok strategy or Instagram strategy, it's really bringing it over to YouTube and almost just polishing, what did you say, captions, titles, and tags, right?
Captions, titles, tags, making sure your music is able to be used on YouTube Shorts. That is one thing we need to do. We need to change our YouTube to be royalty free based on, instead of just using music within the platform, copyright laws and everything.
Oh,
but other than that, yes, those darn copyright laws. But other than that, if your content strategy is going to be aligned on YouTube Shorts with the rest of your platforms that you are present on, then taking advantage of the discoverability on YouTube, I think, is very important, especially when we don't even know what's coming down the line with other social platforms. Who knows if TikTok is going to get banned again, or if other platforms are going to move away from vertical video.
Right.
Maybe Instagram, I mean, there's a big movement to make Instagram again. So what if one day we go back to just static posts on Instagram instead of carousels or videos? So really just using your resources wisely. I don't see any reason to not take advantage of what you could have on YouTube Shorts when you've already done the legwork for other platforms.
Cool. Well, that was great advice, Amanda. Thank you so much for the insights. And folks, like Amanda said, don't overthink it and keep walking the walk and talking the tactics. Thanks for listening to Talking Tactics. If you want to try out the tactics you heard on today's show, you get a full 10 from me, and I would love to hear about how you made them your own. You can find me by searching Safaniya, Safaniya on LinkedIn. You know, there's not many Safaniyas on there, so you'll be able to see me. And if you're enjoying Talking Tactics, please rate and review the show. The overachiever in me needs your feedback, and I'll certainly use it for confirmation or, optimization, depending on the review. And finally, if you just can't get enough great podcasts, the Enrollify Podcast Network delivers with an amazing selection of other marketing and admissions-based podcasts just for you. Visit Enrollify.org and subscribe for all the latest details and content drops directly to your inbox. Enrollify is brought to you by Element 451, the digital workforce platform for higher ed. Learn more at element451.com. See you next time.